60 Minutes, Rewind.
She was a woman, a mother, and the most famous reporter in Ireland. Veronica Guerin started out as an accountant, drifted into politics and public relations, and then in her 30s landed a job at the Sunday Independent, one of the country's largest newspapers. For 2 years, she captivated Ireland with her exposés of Dublin's criminal underworld and the violent rise of some very powerful drug dealers. Then last June, she was murdered, gunned down in broad daylight, almost certainly by one of the people she was reporting on. Her death has become a national obsession.
Everybody read Veronica Guerin. Everybody throughout the length and breadth of Ireland who wanted to know what was happening went to the Veronica Guerin column because it was undiluted.
Chris Finnegan is a retired narcotics detective who is one of Veronica Guerin's sources.
Was there anything that set her apart from other reporters?
Yes, I think there was. The way in which she came with the story. I think she had it very often, perhaps before the police had it, let alone before her peers or her colleagues would have had it.
Lise Hand was a colleague of Veronica's and one of her closest friends.
She couldn't understand the fact that there was drug barons basically living in the midst of ordinary people and somehow seemingly invisible. And she wanted to fill them in, put colour on them, put faces on them, names, just bring them in, out into the light.
In December of 1995, she was center stage in the world of journalism. She came to New York City to collect a prestigious award from the Committee to Protect Journalists. But not even the international attention made her life any safer. A few months later, John Gilligan, a nasty thug and suspected drug trafficker, and his entourage were frolicking in the Caribbean, where one of their associates made this videotape.
Goes away.
They drank and danced and played in a private pool, and they taunted Veronica Guerin.
Here's one Veronica Guerin.
Paul Williams, a crime reporter for Dublin's Sunday World newspaper, was Guerin's competitor and friend.
Every time we would write about the fact that these guys were getting more dangerous, more sinister, more prepared to blow anybody away who tried to stop them or tried to expose them. We were laughed at. It was the hyperbole of the Sunday World, of the Sunday Independent.
Who was laughing at you?
Politicians, other newspaper people who were basically hadn't a bottle to do what we were doing, hadn't the guts. Senior police officers, particularly police management.
You're blowing the problem way out of proportion.
Oh, absolutely.
In the end, it took Veronica Guerin's own murder last June 26th to convince people that everything she'd been writing about the criminal underworld was true.
About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, she stopped for a traffic light at this busy intersection on the outskirts of Dublin. She was being followed by two men on a motorcycle. According to several witnesses, the motorcycle pulled alongside her car. The passenger on the back jumped off, walked over and fired 5 shots through the window. Veronica Guerin was killed instantly. The gunman jumped back on his motorbike and disappeared in the midday traffic.
And I know for a fact that in the moments before Veronica was murdered, she actually said something to one of the guys, because I know that the scumbags who murdered her actually bragged about it to each other afterwards.
So you think that she saw this coming?
Oh, she saw him. She looked at him.
Can you tell me what she said to them? Do you know?
It's very upsetting for the people whoever, the family, I don't think know this, but she said, don't shoot me in the face. And they didn't shoot her in the face. Because the guy on the bike, who rode the bike, talked about it afterwards.
It's impossible to know right now whether that story is true, but it will no doubt become part of Veronica's legend. It's also impossible to know exactly why she continued to pursue the story in the face of such danger. Was she simply naive? Did she allow ambition and the thrill of a good story to cloud her judgment? Willie Keeley was her editor.
You never went up to her and said, Veronica, I think you're going too far. This is too dangerous. I think you should stop.
No. I never said you should stop writing about crime.
Would she have listened to you if you had said, Veronica, I think this is too dangerous. I think you should find another line of work, another beat?
Well, if the Sunday Independent had said, you cannot write about crime anymore, She would simply have gone somewhere else.